Part 2. Azure Moon. Garland Moon. The Golden Deer's Plea. The Kingdom Army has reclaimed the Kingdom capital and plans to immediately begin restoring the country and its forces. But an unexpected request arrives from Claude, leader of the Leicester Alliance. Dimitri promptly responds to the request for aid, and he rushes to prepare the Kingdom's forces.
Hello everyone, Space Oyster here, and welcome back to Fire Emblem Three Houses, the Ashen Blue Lion Wolves. Sorry, work got a little bit, distracting, or I got distracted by my usual work spiel. Anyway, in the last part, we cleared, we saved Ferdiad and killed the lady, and got a note from Claude, but they didn't reveal what it was yet.
We have received a request for aid from the Alliance. They are being invaded by the Empire. We have only just taken back Ferdiad, and yet I am already asking all of you to move out once more. Please accept my apologies for that.
That's no problem at all. More importantly, how is the Alliance faring?
House Regan has rallied the Alliance Lords. They are facing the enemy with all the strength they can muster. But we do not know how far that will get them. It seems the enemy's relentless attacks have forced them into a tough situation. Their defeated Gronder severely weakened the Alliance. I imagine the Empire now intends to destroy them before they can recover.
To think they'd watch us chase their soldiers out of the Kingdom capital, then immediately go invade the Alliance. Their general is Lord Volkard von Arundel. He serves as regent to the Emperor. He has presumably taken command after the Emperor was wounded in Gronder.
He is known for his shrewdness and excels not only in domestic affairs, but tactics as well. He is not an opponent we should take lightly. Lord Arundel.
Are you concerned? It is your uncle, after all.
I always suspected that Lord Arundel was behind the tragedy 9 years ago. The timing of his departure from the Kingdom, the fact that he abruptly stopped making donations. Too many factors made him suspect. If Lord Arundel conspired with Cornelia, then what Kronya and the others said 5 years ago? Well, never mind that for now. The Alliance needs our help. What are your thoughts?
If we turn our back on the Alliance, and then Deirdre falls, it will undoubtedly make our situation difficult further down the road. We would have enemies in two directions, in the Alliance to the northeast, and in the Empire to the south.
That is true. In that scenario, we would not be able to safely march our soldiers to Enbar.
I am terribly worried about Lady Rhea, but I believe we must save the Alliance first. Oh, maybe if we do this, the Alliance will help us out in return. We could ask them to help us attack the Empire. You know, a sneak attack or something.
Annie, when did you become so devious?
What would your mother think?
What? It wasn't that devious.
What do you think, Professor?
Let's march for Deirdre.
Yes, I agree. I will admit that there is something to be gained for us as well, for when we eventually march south. But far more importantly, they need us. We cannot turn our backs on them. We will arrange to head out at once. Prepare yourselves, everyone.
Alright, so we have our plan of action. We're gonna save Claude. It's gonna be super amazing. It's a shame that Claude can't join us, though. Yeah, even after all this is said and done, he doesn't help us out for the rest of the stuff. Anyway, let's go ahead and explore the monastery again. Oh, I didn't realize Dedu had books in his room. Yeah, Dedu and Lindhart both have books in their respective rooms, which are on the ground floor.
The very same night we liberated the capital, a messenger arrived from Deirdre. Claude must have predicted that we'd retake it.
Definitely.
Claude's a hard person to read. It's obvious not much escapes his eye, though. Kind of unsettling, honestly.
Yeah, but Claude tends to be very... Well, they keep saying he's a good strategist, but honestly, you don't really see a whole lot of his clever schemes paying off unless you play Golden Deer.
Maybe.
But yeah, if you want to get some free professor experience, after the first couple of months, visit Dedu and Lindhart's rooms, and visit Dedu and Lindhart's rooms, and they'll have books for you that will provide a little bit of EXPs. Every little bit counts. In the early game, you want to grind that professor experience up as much as possible. Being able to assign adjutants as early as you can is extremely useful, especially with the DLC out if you want to use one or more of the DLC characters. Personally, I wouldn't recommend using all 4 of them the way I have, or rather, if you do want to use all 4 of them, make sure you plan well
I
ahead.
went to visit my adoptive father at his home in the capital. He used to grovel at Cornelia's feet when the city was under her control. But after it was liberated, he started courting the kingdom instead.
Whatever it takes to get ahead. It's despicable.
Absolutely. He's hopeless. I suppose when you're a merchant, that's all you know. No matter what becomes of the world, it'll always be plagued by people like him.
Deirdre, huh? I've always wanted to go there. In Fargus, most of the towns are pretty much glorified fortresses. So, to hear about a place called the Aquatic Capital, it just sounds so elegant. When the war's over, I hope I can visit with everyone there.
Yeah, don't get my hopes up, Annette. When you said that, it made me think, ooh, this is going to be a very pretty map. But no, it's just recycled.
Claude, eh? He always was sharp among his peers. Never let himself get caught up in conventions. He wasn't typical in Fodlan. I'd like to save him if we can.
Me too. We'll make it in time, and he's too determined to die.
And I'm sure he's already calculated exactly when that will be.
Claude apparently is just so good at everything. Wait, there's another person in here, right?
Reminds me.
Oh wait, no, there's just an NPC standing next to Shamir. That's what's going on. Okay. I probably should have talked to the NPCs. Their dialogue is somewhat unique once you get to the route split, or part 2, I should say. But I just don't want to. I don't really like the NPCs. They're all dirty, and I don't like them. But yeah, Claude could have been better handled to be.
They used to call Claude the Master Tactician? I want a nickname too. Maybe I'll get one if I can rescue him at Deirdre. I'll come up with a plan that's even better than his and earn a nickname for sure.
Let's see. What would be a good nickname for Caspar? How about Slow Start? Dead Weight? Yeah, I'm a little bit bitter that Caspar has such a horrible start. If you play the game on Maddening and pick the Beagles, like Caspar's early game is so pathetic that he's best off as a bench warmer. You can make him work though. You can make anything work in Fire Emblem. Trust me, just because it's maddening and you want to optimize as much as you can, you do not have to. You can make anything work. It'll take a bit of effort though, but it does. Oh right, I remember in the last part I was venting about how frustrated I got on a paralog that I thought I couldn't do. But I did it with a lot of help from people smarter than me who are better at this game. It is nice to be able to break the game, but...
Greetings, Professor. Deirdre is known as the aquatic capital. It's a beautiful town with streets that seem to float on the water and an impressive harbor. In times of peace, it would be a wonderful place for a holiday. Anyway, best of luck in the next battle.
Yeah, what was I talking about again? I don't know. I forgot about it. But anyway, the city of Deirdre actually reminds me of the what used to be the Mayan capital city. I forget what it was called, but Mexico City is built on pretty much built where it was. It was a city that was essentially a floating capital, built on the water, and it floated and all that.
Let's see. It was over 20 years ago. There was an illness raging across Ferdiad, while people were dying left and right. It was Cornelia who saved the kingdom from that dreadful illness.
Cornelia was a doctor?
No, I hear she was originally an imperial scholar. She was in the kingdom by my father's invitation. People praised Cornelia as a saint for ending the epidemic. But there came a day when she completely changed. Her behavior, mannerisms, likes, dislikes, everything. Despite all that, Father still appointed her to a high post. After all, she had saved the kingdom from ruin by that disease. But above all, my stepmother trusted her. That's why what that woman said is... Never mind.
Yeah, actually that has me wondering.
Lord Rodrigue Fraldarius has passed on. Margrave Gautier has assumed his position and is now gathering the lords of the Eastern Territories. House Gautier is equal in prestige to House Fraldarius. Sylvain is a Gautier. These lords are reorganizing the Fargus army and eradicating any remaining factions that claim allegiance to the Empire. Of course, His Highness is being kept apprised with regular reports, but it falls to me to monitor him and ensure he does not try to take on too much. I would ask you to do the same. If you take your eyes off that man, even for a moment, he is liable to do something rash.
I'll keep that in mind. Anyway, Dimitri mentioned that Cornelia's personality completely changed at one point. I'm thinking...
What about Deirdre, the aquatic capital? I've heard it's a magnificent city, you know? If we're going, I wish it wasn't to wage war. It'd be more fun to visit with a cute girl on my arm.
Maybe once the war is over.
You're right. That's something to look forward to.
But, it might be that, evil faction like people like, Kronia and Solon, they could be killing and replacing people, like, I think it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That could be what their ultimate goal, well, not their ultimate goal, but that could be what those weird, creepy folks do.
Think. Remember the Death Knight who stabbed me 5 years ago? Of course you do. How could you forget? Well, it turns out he's a general in the Imperial Army, claiming victories on dozens of battlefields. But it looks like he's not at Deirdre. Like every man in my life, he's run away from me. And he better run. One day I'm gonna find that guy and pay him back for what he did to me.
You can do it, Manuela. I wonder if she would have had a boss conversation with him if she had fought him on the paralogue for Mercedes and
The
Caspar.
capital recaptured. I desire to call him Your Majesty rather than Your Highness. He would refuse my desire, rightfully pointing out that he has not as yet been crowned. However, the day this war is ended and the Church has placed the crown upon his head, then he will truly be our king, and I will call him Your Majesty at last. I must go hear the reports from our spies. There is something worrying me, and... No, it can wait. I shall tell you more when our information is more concrete. I have a request.
Alright.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, I got distracted, Gilbert. I don't know what you were talking about. It sounded irrelevant.
I thought there was a chance that Cornelia had captured Lady Rhea, but it seems that is not the case. Our next foe, Lord Arundel, was once a pious adherent to the Seros Creed. His contributions to the Church stopped quite abruptly some time ago. I think it is likely the man knows something.
Yeah. Oh, right. There was a theory on Arundel that
You plan to aid Claude, do you not? Huh, I think that is absolutely marvelous. Being opposing forces at the Battle of Gronder was ill-fated. It hurt to side against him. I am happy that things have taken a brighter turn now.
Yeah, it's good that things are bright. But, yeah, Arundel is actually is what I got the reasoning for that evil faction replacing people.
Even if we do enter Alliance territory, we're not gonna find Lady Rhea there. I wish we could leave Claude be and go attack the Empire. I suppose if we can't beat the Empire forces here, then we can't get into the Empire lands, can we? I guess that just means it's hard work time, huh, Professor?
Yep, gotta think of the big picture, Cyril. Anyway, since Arundel had such a sudden shift in his behaviors, he might have been killed and then replaced by, actually,
So House
Tullus.
Regan has regained its influence in the Alliance, and is gathering forces. Claude always was somewhat inscrutable. It's strange somehow to hear talk of his brilliance as the leader of the Alliance.
Probably not that strange. Claude seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. But yeah, they don't confirm it as far as I can tell in-game, but Arundel is Thales or Tullus, or however you pronounce that name. He was the guy who shot Boyleth off a cliff before Part 2.
My uncle gave me some of my father's belongings, weapons, books, but there was something else that my old man really wanted to pass down. He wanted me to inherit his mission, ensuring that Dimitri ascends the throne. Or so I believe.
It'll be tough to confirm that now, but you have to do what you think is best, Felix. We believe in you! Anyway, let's go check on the Abyss, see how everyone in the Ashen Wolves are doing. I really do regret retitling this playthrough Ashen Blue Lion Wolves, since the Ashen Wolves have no impact on the story whatsoever. They're just characters that I'm using. They're no different than the church soldiers, if you think about it.
Professor!
Hey you, listen up. I've got something to report. I hear Deirdre is our next objective. Small world. That's actually where I grew up. It's a great place.
Good to know. We did get to go to Deirdre once, actually. It was the same map as,
the army runs you ragged, marches you from place to place, prodding you to fight. They promised me 3 meals a day. They'd have to give a lot more than that to get me to sign on. I'd rather starve down here than deal with that.
But yeah, it was the same location that Shamir
I was
in.
most relieved to hear that no one at the School of Sorcery was harmed. They are capable people who bear Fodlan's future on their shoulders. We can afford to lose none of them.
It's good that Ferdiad is ours once again.
The future of magic is bright, though it would be brighter if my own house's future was guaranteed. The Alliance is next on our agenda, yes? Watch carefully for my dazzling spellcraft.
I will watch with amazement. Yeah, it was the location for Shamir and Aloise's paralogue, so we've already been there. The recycling in 3 houses with the maps is super abysmal. Granted, there is a pretty good reason for that.
People have always fought, I guess. Bandits and nobles clashing over territory, things like that. So before the war, when folks talked about how peaceful everything was, I thought, what continent are you living on? I get it now. A few isolated skirmishes here and there are nothing compared to a full-blown war. The one truly peaceful place I've known was the village where I grew up.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
So, the king who came back from hell, defeated the tyrant and liberated the people. It's like something out of a poetic saga. At least those in need will see it as such.
You think so? How do you see it?
It isn't like the poor need some lofty air basking in glory. What they need is someone who can ease their woes, keep them fed, things like that. How they view such a king all depends on his ability to provide for them. All things considered, I imagine Dimitri will do a fine job at it.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll try. Let's see. What was I talking about again? I don't know, I completely forgot about it.
It's happened. The Alliance is now little more than a battlefield. I guess that was inevitable. So far, Albrecht territory has remained unscathed, but that won't last forever.
We'll win this for the Alliance as well.
I see that Arundel guy? I'm gonna knock him flat. We're short on time, but we have to go in prepared. If we lose this, we lose everything. The stakes are too damn high.
Very high indeed. Anyway, I'll call that here. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.